Folks, joining me now on what reforms he'd like to see to the program, Florida Republican Congressman Matt Gaetz. Congressman Gaetz, a lot of ideas are out there. First of all, do you think it's just wise at all to keep this extra money flowing?
Employers in my district want to onboard people. We are seeing folks come back to the state of Florida, businesses beginning to reopen, and we're only going to be able to continue the consumer confidence and business confidence that fueled the great period of economic expansion before coronavirus. We're only going to be able to recapture that if we have a willing and ready and able workforce. And I have heard feedback that these juiced unemployment benefits are retarding the incentive that we need so that we can fully re-engage the economy. So I'm all about the return to work bonus. And I want to also give credit to some of our Senate Republican colleagues like Senator Portman, who knew this would be an issue on the front end, and we couldn't get our Democrat friends to join us in fixing it before it became a problem.
Yeah, I mean, it really is tough. And yeah, I think like the idea of maybe of tying it to the rate of individual state unemployment, that gets complicated, right? I don't think Congress is ready to do complicated. And as much as we hate blanket policies, maybe a sense of urgency should be there. And do you feel that sense of urgency isn't there? I'm kind of concerned that a lot of your colleagues see July 31st as a long ways off and are kind of dithering on this.
I wish that we were back at work in the Congress. I think that it's a bad message to send the rest of the country that Congress has retreated back into their own homes. I'll be on a flight tomorrow morning back to the district to the District of Columbia, I should say, to work on policing reform issues. But you're right, there should be a greater sense of urgency one way or the other to fix these programs. I think the Paycheck Protection Program has been very popular. I'm glad the President and the administration have shown leadership on that. And now if we can fix the unemployment system so that those employees can onboard, then I think we'll continue to see that dramatic reduction in the unemployment rate. That has been one of the real surprises in the Great American Comeback, is how fast that unemployment rate has fallen. This is one of the key things to do to really improve that metric.
Yeah, and what's even more impressive is how many people have gotten jobs and have come back into the labor force, because that unemployment rate can get tricky sometime when people come back. Speaking of which, it feels like the new wild card, at least being talked up on Wall Street, are these the second wave, if you will. Your state seeing its highest total new coronavirus cases since the pandemic started. Is there an issue here, and could the reopening efforts in Florida be derailed?
Well, first, we have to note that it would be naive not to suggest that some of these mass protests and riots may be a contributing factor to the spread of coronavirus. But when it comes to the rising positivity rate and the rising numbers in Florida, keep this in mind. Our governor is going on offense against this disease. We aren't merely setting up testing sites and having like the field of dreams approach that if we build it, they will come. We're going into underserved areas, into the communities that support our agriculture industry. We're going into prisons. And so, of course, the more you play offense, the higher your positivity rate will be. But then we want to lash that data to what Dr. Birx has called the best contact tracing system in America that the Florida Department of Health has been able to utilize. Then we can get our contract tracers to actually track these instances down. The worst case would be just having these positivity rates go undetected. And so that's why I'm very confident in the Florida approach.
Is there any chance that, is there any level, whether it's hospitalizations, cases, deaths, whatever you want to use as a metric, that the state would close down again?
We don't see any data now that would put that option on the table. Again, like you say, the hospitalization and intubation rates have not risen. I think, frankly, as we go on offense against the disease, we're finding more and more asymptomatic young people who they'll technically test positive, but they won't really put a strain on the system. But we still need to keep doing that testing like we're doing in Florida, because we don't want our young people to serve as vectors for the disease into the vulnerable populations. That's why we're doing so much staff testing at our nursing homes and assisted living facilities, and we're doing the opposite of New York, because we're not allowing people to be released from the hospital and then go back into those areas where people die at a far higher rate.
Congressman Gaetz, thank you very much.
Thank you, Charles.